Jeff Passan just dropped a massive Boston Red Sox update. I'm here to break down the recent comments and quotes, breaking down the Kyle Schwarber offseason and how the Red Sox find themselves at the helm of teams looking to acquire him. I'm here to break down Passan's comments as well as other top journalists covering the game of baseball and how Boston seems to be at the forefront of the Kyle Schwarber saga. We'll break down all of that on this episode of Red Sox Digest, but first, please do remember, scroll down and click that subscribe button to stay up to date with everything Red Sox. Help us hit our new goal of 10,000 subscribers. We do appreciate it, so thank you guys. But now let's get to it and break down Schwarber to Boston is picking up. Now, the conversation has been going on since the offseason officially started just over, a month ago? But now it feels like day after day, we're getting big update after big update from big insider / journalist and Jeff Passan, Ken Rosenthal, John Morrissey, fill in the blank. All of these guys are giving us comments and quotes day after day that lead us to believe the Red Sox are going to be that much more competitive in these markets and in these conversations for these big name offseason acquisitions. And now we have a brand new article written, published by Jeff Passan on ESPN, which again will be tagged down below if you'd like to read the entirety of it. We're going to focus on the Kyle Schwarber conversation in this video specifically, and really how he's in connections to this Red Sox team, as well as a bunch of others, including the Toronto Blue Jays, the Detroit Tigers, and even the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yes, that is not a misprint. That is real. Jeff Passan actually did write about that. And again, I'm not going to read this word for word, but I'm going to break down really just the ideas that Passan presents in these 3 paragraphs. To start, Kyle Schwarber, despite playing a lick of defense, and I mean literally a lick of defense, and at that might be considered a stretch, is still going to get way more money than any other DH has gotten. And why is that? Well, the character of Kyle Schwarber, the charisma, the attitude of Kyle Schwarber is something that is going to be paid for this offseason. Plugging someone like Schwarber in to any team in the MLB instantly boosts not only the morale, but obviously the play of those teams, especially at the plate. Is he going to play any defense? Absolutely not. But the overall production at the plate is so drastic that teams are going to be willing to pay for it. And not only that, but they're going to be in a bidding war with other very respectable teams trying to acquire Schwarber. And it's not only the offensive production, but it's the attitude, it's the morale, it's the just overall persona of someone like Kyle Schwarber, who's going to go down with the ship. He's not going to jump off. He's going to go down with the ship, and he's going to be the leader of your clubhouse. That is something that is really hard to obtain, and when you can go out there and pay someone to be that guy for your respected organization, it is really, really hard to pass up on that idea. The conversations and the comps for Kyle Schwarber this offseason have specifically been one name from Boston, from the Boston Red Sox, and that is David Ortiz. And we've heard it ad nauseum, whether it's from Passan, John Morrissey, Ken Rosenthal, the list goes on. And it's very enjoyable because it leaves the rest of Red Sox Nation very optimistic and hopeful that someone like Schwarber will be brought back into Boston for that reason. We saw what happened when Big Papi and David Ortiz was a part of this organization and was the focal point and heartbeat of this organization and really just the city in general. Why wouldn't you want to bring someone like Kyle Schwarber who can replicate that, who has already replicated that back in 2021 with a very short tenured run in Boston? But in that short tenure, things were cinema. To be very blunt and simple and short to the point. Absolutely cinema. Kyle Schwarber in Philly was amazing. Plug him back into Boston, where he was beloved for a very, very short period of time, and allow him to be the guy for the next 2, maybe even 3 years in Boston, and be that DH. The guy that is at just a single crack of the bat could ignite an entire city, an entire stadium in just a matter of seconds. We've seen it done before in a Red Sox jersey. It's just a matter of time until Craig Breslow and the rest of this front office goes out there and says, F it. Pay this man what he needs, or what we need to pay him in order to pull him away from teams like Detroit, the Toronto Blue Jays, the Kansas City Royals, the Boston Red Sox, the New York Mets, and even even the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, am I saying the Pirates are the biggest front runner for Schwarber? Absolutely not. I believe it's a two-man race. I think it's going to be between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Boston Red Sox. There's a long, long way until this road finds an end, so let's not jump to any conclusions. Someone could come out and make an outrageous offer that Schwarber legitimately could not turn down, like the Cincinnati Reds, who have a home field advantage in this conversation because Schwarber grew up 30 minutes away from Cincinnati. So there's a lot of different talking points that are being involved in this conversation. It's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out. But with it all being involved and all being just brought up and actually highlighted, it feels like the Red Sox have a legitimate chance to go out there and acquire him. Not only for the reasons already addressed, but because they know what they would be getting in Schwarber. They've seen it back in 2021. And yes, despite having an ample amount of left-handed bats, there's still a lot of time left in this offseason where trades can be made and other talent could be brought in and used in this lineup rather than some other pieces that are already here. I won't mention names, but it could be a one, if not two, outfielders that we're discussing. Now, Passan wasn't the only person to go out there and discuss the Red Sox and their pursuit for Kyle Schwarber. I will say John Morsey went on MLB Network and went on and brought us this quote, saying, quote, "Pursuit is the word that I will use right now, as opposed to hot pursuit. I can confirm that, yes, the Red Sox have checked in on Kyle Schwarber." And that is the end of the quote from John Morsey, one of the top insiders/analysts covering the game of baseball. And I love hearing this. He confirmed for an absolute fact the Boston Red Sox have checked in on Kyle Schwarber. Thank God that was the report, because if Morsey would have said, they're on the fence, they haven't really confirmed that he's available or would be open to Boston, I would be flipping chairs right now on this stream. There's no way that the Red Sox, up to this point, which is still very early, could have gone this long without at least checking in on Kyle Schwarber. The fact that he used the words and was abundantly clear to make it obvious and known to the world, at least to the Red Sox nation, anyone that cares, that it's not a hot pursuit as of yet. Again, these are quotes from Morsey, but at least a pursuit towards Kyle Schwarber is substantial. It doesn't seem like they're trying to move mountains right now in order to go out and get Schwarber because of the other talent that is still rightly available this offseason via trade and free agency. So we will wait and see how it all ends up playing out. But it doesn't look like Kyle Schwarber is the number one absolute priority for the Red Sox because of guys like Pete Alonso and others that are very, very much available this offseason via trade as well as free agency. You guys know how I feel. I have said it at an abundance during this offseason period on this channel. I want to see Schwarber back in Boston. I know it's another left-handed bat. I know they have an ample amount of left-handed bats. The power bat would be there, but it's more for the character. It's more for the person of Kyle Schwarber and the leader he can be for these young guys. I know Bregman's up in the air right now, and that's a lot of what you got from Alex Bregman. But if you can get Schwarber, the question about losing Bregman's leadership in the clubhouse and on the diamond kind of goes out the window because of the guy you replaced him with, at least in the sense of leadership and the ability to actually be the role model and the veteran figure in the locker room or in the clubhouse that can really go a long way. Last few things we're going to point out on this video. The first one being the fact that Spotrac actually we're going to start with the left-handed conversation. Schwarber versus lefties and the fact that his underlying metrics are so damn good. We know this is why you'd be paying Schwarber, but it's not only that. Like Passan mentioned, and we went on to really quickly summarize from these three paragraphs, not only are those teams and the teams we mentioned earlier involved in Schwarber, but the reason they are very much involved. Not only are the underlying metrics absolutely phenomenal, and the years on years and years of actual accolades and statistical production he has produced, it's not just that, but it's the character. It's the fact that he can hit left-handed pitching as a left-handed power bat. If you look, he's coming off a career year in OPS in 2025 with nearly a 1,200 OPS specifically versus left-handed pitching, something you do not see from left-handed power bats when you compare them to left-handed pitching. Obviously, the underlying metrics as broken down not only in this video, but before on this channel, they're phenomenal. If you look at the chase percentages, they are way above league average. You look at the whiff and K percentages, he definitely still strikes out at a very high clip in the bottom 10th percentile in both of those categories. But if you look at chase percentage as well as walk percentage, again, top 90th percentile in the league. Those two things, or those four things I should say, don't normally correlate this direction, but they do for Schwarber. And despite only hitting 285, 290 for a season, he is still otherworldly productive. And it's not just on the field, it's in the clubhouse, it's in the locker room. It's him being a role model and a figure that is hard to deny. Along with that, let's quickly compare other contracts that could resemble the Schwarber contract this offseason, and we're going to put a nail in this video. Spotrac, $24.9 million average salary. I'm here to tell you they are dead wrong. He is going to get way more than that. Understand, the Tigers, the Mets, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Pittsburgh Pirates, all of these teams, including other teams, the Blue Jays and others, are going to be in on Schwarber. And he's going to continue to get offers and more offers and more offers. And he's going to be able to use other offers for leverage. And with that leverage comes great power. And with that great power comes other teams getting desperate and trying to close a deal where they're going to go out there and they're going to try to spend more money in order to pull you and sway you to their organization. He's going to get a lot closer to that $30 million, if not even $35 million mark. If you look at some of the comparisons, Matt Chapman, Marcus Semien, George Springer, Freddie Freeman, you can make the argument that 3 of the 4, and even Springer up until the World Series when he took a 98-mile-per-hour fastball or tipped foul ball off his kneecap, literally the top of his kneecap. I don't know how he was even able to stand for the next week. He was a DH for like 3 games of the World Series because of that foul tip off his knee. Outside of that, all 4 of these guys are very good, if not elite defenders at their respected position. Chapman's a third baseman, premier position. Freddie Freeman, obviously a first baseman, premier position. Marcus Semien, second baseman, premier position. If you look at the age, they signed roughly the same as Schwarber at 31, 32 years of age. But if you look at the years, 6 years, Schwarber's not getting that long of a contract. It's going to be a 2 to 3, maybe, absolutely, maybe 4 years. And that is a very, very big stretch. Someone's going to have to get very desperate and offer him a 4-year contract where they're also probably going to overpay just ever so slightly. This is amazing. If this happens, I think Schwarber's getting 3 years, $30 million, maybe $32 million annually AAV wise, and he is going to be a very, very, very handsomely paid DH, and rightfully so. Let me know down below. What is your overall thoughts and opinions on Kyle Schwarber? Do you think he deserves $30 million a year if he's playing absolutely no defense, or do you think he should be paid 25 like Spotrac, 25 to 30 million, or do you think it goes up any higher than that? Thank you guys for watching. I will see you on the next episode of Red Sox Digest.